I don't know about you guys, but I love watching vlogs. It's something so beautiful and vibey about watching how people live their lives. And I love it especially when it's an aesthetic vlog. There are a bunch of creators out there that I really love watching. And I think one of the main appeals to me, especially, is the color. When a video has such a beautiful, creamy, almost film-like color, it's just so nice to watch. So lately, I've been really trying to learn more about color grading, and I've been obsessed in trying to achieve that quote-unquote film look, the one that you see in the movies, and it's just super beautiful to watch. And today, I'm going to show you guys how you can do just that. Here's how to make your vlogs look more cinematic. But first, we need to ask, what is film? As someone born in the rise of the digital age, it made sense to ask, what is film? Film is how we recorded and captured images before the digital age. Imagine this rock as a piece of film stock. Film was made out of a transparent film base, usually made out of nitrate and later other chemicals. This film base would then later be coated by a light-sensitive film emulsion or mixture, in this case, the water. Within that emulsion were silver halide crystals, photosensitive to light. When these crystals were exposed to light, they would capture an image, which would later be developed by a photochemical process. What makes film beautiful is how it transforms an image and gives it character. Rich, dense colors, smooth roll-off in the highlights, deep shadows, and imperfections caused by the development and capture of film are what make it so special. Film emulation hopes to achieve the look and feel of film, all while working within a digital workflow. The big question is, why would you want to emulate film? Now everyone has their reasons, but it all boils down to one thing: creative aesthetic. There is no one definition of the film look, and it's definitely more than just your color grade. But the number one reason you would want to emulate film is to move your audience. Film emulation is a powerful tool and a creative intention that can be used to push the message of your video forward and make your audience feel a certain way. Whether that be invoking a sense of nostalgia or emotion that you felt in a certain place, reinforcing a certain theme or message behind a particular scene, or wanting the audience to experience a shot in a certain way. So how do we emulate film? This is where Dehancer comes in. Dehancer is a film-like color grading plugin designed to make your footage look like as if it had been shot on film. Dehancer has been developed by a team of color scientists, photographers, software engineers, and film professionals since 2014, with decades of experience behind them. And with over 1 million downloads, Dehancer has been used in various projects, ranging from short films to music videos, documentaries, advertisements, and even photography. As a creative myself, I love sharing tools that can help you guys on your creative journey. And exploring tools like Dehancer is really important because we get to see what's out there. So for the past month, I've been using Dehancer and will be giving my thoughts on it as a product, my experience using it, and how you can use it in your creative workflow. As of now, Dehancer and its plugins are available on DaVinci Resolve, Final Cut Pro, Adobe After Effects, and Premiere Pro. They're also available on photo editing software such as Lightroom and Photoshop. They even have a mobile app for iOS. In today's video, I'll be reviewing their Pro plugin for DaVinci Resolve. If you're interested in picking up Dehancer for any platform, make sure to use my affiliate code, CINEMA10, to get 10% off your order, and support my channel at the same time. Links to Dehancer and the affiliate code will be in the description. Thank you once again, Dehancer. So with that, let's talk about some of the key features that Dehancer has to offer. When you install Dehancer as a plugin, it comes as an effect in your color page. So here in Resolve, I'm going to drag it from my effects library into a node, and I'll explain the workflow when I do a grade on the project, but let's just look at some of the key features that Dehancer has to offer. First and foremost, input profiles. One important factor of deciding whether to use a tool like Dehancer is compatibility, and whether it's going to work with your existing workflow and tools. Dehancer offers over 130 plus input profiles that allow you to use Dehancer across different workflows and different cameras, such as Apple, Sony, Fujifilm, Canon, etc. So underneath the source tab, you can choose a bunch of different color spaces, and you can even choose camera profiles. So for example, for my Sony a6700, I can choose that as a camera profile and even lock in S-Log 3 Gamut 3.cine. The input profiles in Dehancer are a great feature as it allows for a consistent experience when using the plugin no matter what project you're working on, and makes Dehancer a flexible tool that adapts to you. The Input Profiles tab in Dehancer also has corrective controls such as exposure, temperature, tint, and defringe that allow you to adjust the input signal that Dehancer is working with, giving you greater control and flexibility. Good stuff. The Film's Profile feature allows you to choose a variety of different film stock, allowing you to emulate your digital footage as if you had shot with that particular film. This is the heart and soul of Dehancer and other film emulation plugins, and is one of the most important factors to consider when choosing a tool like this. What we're looking for here is quality and quantity of film stock. Dehancer delivers on both ends. Within Dehancer, there are over 60 different film profiles to choose from. All of their film profiles have been accurately sampled from the original film stock and look and feel as if I was shooting on that specific film. I like how each of the film profiles look, and there's a good amount of film stocks to choose from. When I apply a film profile, it allows me to achieve a creative look in seconds, which I otherwise wouldn't have been able to do. In addition to this, there is a push and pull control that allows you to simulate the process of pushing and pulling film in real life, giving you even more control and variety on how your film stock looks. One of the core aspects of Dehancer is that it tries to incorporate real-life film development processes within its workflow. Dehancer offers several additional tools that allow you to change the look and feel of different film profiles. This can be done through the film developer, film compression, expand, print, and color head features within Dehancer. My favorite in particular is the print tab, which allows me to print my film onto another medium, such as motion picture film or paper. Applying this setting really helps in taking my footage to the next level and making it feel more like film. All of these are a big plus as it gives you even more control and a variety of looks. Another key feature within Dehancer are the film effects, in particular the big three, which is grain, halation, and bloom. Dehancer also offers tools such as film breath, film damage, gate weave, overscan, and vignetting. All of these tools carry over from the real-life characteristics of shooting on film and the imperfections caused by the development and capture of it. What we're looking for here in Dehancer is the quality of the effect and how accurately it represents the actual effect occurring in real life. Dehancer emulates each of these effects, in particular grain, halation, and bloom, in a very unique way, by basing it off the light values and color values within your digital footage. And I think Dehancer emulates each of these effects really well. And there's also enough controls that allow me to dial in the look that I want. Finally, Dehancer also offers additional tools for monitoring, output, and LUT generation, which are really nice to have. Now that I've talked about some of the key features that Dehancer has to offer, let me show you how I would use it in a grade for a project. Okay, so now that we've talked about some of the key features, let's take a look at how I would use Dehancer in my workflow. I'm assuming you have some rudimentary knowledge about color grading, but if not, just sit back, relax, you can still follow along, and I'll just try to explain each step of the process. So here we're going to start off with our first node, and this is going to be a color space transform. Now, I recorded this footage on my Sony a6700 using S-Log3. This is a shot from me when I was back in the Philippines. And we're going to take our S-Log3 and we're going to bring it to a DaVinci wide gamut, or a wider color space. After this, we're going to have another color space transform, and we're going to name this DaVinci wide gamut to Rec 70 or 709, because this is going to take us from DaVinci wide gamut to Rec 709, which is our deliverable color space. And we're just going to set these out really quick. Now, I have a very simple node tree set up right now. I just have two color space transforms, one going from S-Log3 into DaVinci wide gamut, and then another one taking it from DaVinci wide gamut to Rec 709. And then here at the end, we have a node for Dehancer. The general workflow for Dehancer is that it's at the end of your color grading pipeline. So here I'm just going to drag in Dehancer and let's see what it does. Boom. And you can automatically see that a grade has been applied and there's already a film look going on. As I mentioned before, our input source is Rec 709 because we have this color space transform. And I'm just going to leave everything on the input. Now, next would be my film choice. This is where I would choose my film stock to use. I actually like the Kodak Vision 3250D, but as you can see, there are a bunch of different film stocks to choose from, as well as the ability to push and pull the stock. I might push it a bit so that it acts like a faster film stock, and we'll just leave it there. There's no really right or wrong with this. This is more of a creative control. Next, Dehancer actually recommends that you set up your expand. So here I'm just going to set up my black point. So I'm going to increase my black point here and get a bit of contrast and up my white point a bit. And there you can see that our image is brightened up a little bit. Next, I'm gonna go for my print. So I'm gonna go for a Kodak 2383 print film. This simulates me printing my film onto another print medium. You have further controls to adjust the look of your print film. Let's say I like, maybe like this look. I want to increase the color density a bit and keep the saturation at that level. Color head, I'm not going to touch it for now, or if I do, maybe let's have a look. If I make the shadows more blue, introduce a bit of red throughout the scene, just warm it up a little bit. Let's warm the midtones up as well as the highlights and cool down the shadows. Let's say I'm going for an afternoon kind of look, which is round about when I took this shot. And there you can see that we've changed our look quite a bit with our color head. If I enable and disable that, you can see what we've done there. And I might enable some film compression to bring some of the highlights back in. I might just reduce its impact a little bit. Reduce the tonal range there so it's affecting more of the highlights instead. Next, we'll move on to grain. Let's go custom. I generally like to make my grain less visible and just more of a texture to be felt when you're watching. So I'm just going to decrease the size, reduce the amount slightly, increase my film resolution, and reduce my shadows and midtones and highlights as well. So if we enable and disable that, you can see there's a bit of softening going on, but nothing too crazy. We'll just enable that again. We'll go for halation. Now this is a bit too strong for me. Make our source limiter a bit higher. And let's reduce the amplify, increase the local diffusion just a bit. So global diffusion is going to affect it throughout the entire scene, whereas local diffusion is more around the areas of halation. We can actually press Shift F here on DaVinci Resolve and we can zoom in and see how our effect is affecting the footage. So if I enable and disable that, you can see there's a bit of halation going around on these poles here, or maybe I'll go around here as well. Bit of halation occurring around this beam, and yeah, so it's a really nice subtle effect. And usually with halation you pair it with bloom, so we're just going to put a little bit of bloom there. I think the preset looks pretty good, so I'm just going to leave it there. This is it with on and off. And yeah, I might put a vignette on, reduce the exposure, increase the size, and that's it on and off. So there's a bit of vignetting. So this is with Dehancer off, and this is with Dehancer on. As you guys can see, Dehancer on its own, without any additional color grading tools, is a really powerful tool that can take your footage to a cinematic level. Okay guys, so let's take a look at a more realistic scenario where you have multiple shots that you want to grade. This is especially true for a vlog or for whatever project you're working on, because you're most likely going to have a sequence of shots that look very similar and you want to apply the consistent grade throughout. So I'll show you how to set up Dehancer to work across multiple clips so that they all have a consistent grade. So here, just to go through the example, we have 3 shots. These are all shot on my Sony a6700 recording in S-Log3, and it's just a clip of me and my friends in the hills, which is a perfect example for a vlog. But it can be whatever you want. So what we'll do is we'll utilize groups so that we can access the pre-clip and post-clip effects. So here what we'll do is we'll select all of our clips and we'll add them into a new group, and we'll just call this test 1. So now all of these are part of a group, and if I select the group pre-clipped, what we'll be doing is we'll pretty much be applying the same node tree structure that we applied to the single clip. This is going to be a color space transform, taking it from S-Log3 into DaVinci Wide Gamut. We'll drag in a color space transform and set that up. Perfect, and you can see all of our clips now have a color space transform that has been applied from S-Log3 to DaVinci Wide Gamut. Now if I go to the group post clip, we're going to have another color space transform, which is going to take us from DaVinci Wide Gamut to Rec 709. And here, we're going to apply this, DaVinci Wide Gamut to DaVinci Intermediate, and then we're going to go into Rec 709 Gamut 2.2 for our deliverable space. After this, we're going to add a serial node, and we're going to call this one Dehancer. So Dehancer is going to be applied in the group post clip, and it's going to affect all of the clips once we put Dehancer on. So you can see here, if I apply Dehancer, all of our clips have Dehancer applied to it. But what I like to do before applying Dehancer is I actually like to shot match my clips so that they look roughly the same and all kind of start from a fairly similar starting point. So So what we'll do is we'll just disable this Dehancer node for now. And what we'll do here is we'll go into the individual clip levels. So you can see here, if I select clip, this is how you will adjust a single clip. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a balance node. With my balance node, I set the gamma to linear, and this allows me to just adjust the gain to achieve a white balance. Now, what I'll do is I will select all the other shots and apply the same grade. So now all of my clips have this balance node. And what I'll do is I'll set this as my reference frame for the clip because it's got skin tones and I think it's a fairly neutral frame. And we'll just have a look. So we'll set that as our reference shot. We'll wipe the timeline graph. And you can see here that both of these shots are fairly similar in terms of balance. Just different levels of exposure, but nothing too crazy. However, this shot here in the hills is quite blue compared to this shot. And I might want to change that because quite frankly, it's not this blue. I think my camera kind of went off balance here. So what I'll do is I'm going to push my gain, now that it's working in a linear space. We'll just turn off the wipe. And we're just going to push it into a good spot. I'll use my vector scope here as a graph. We'll just push it into a spot that's a bit more nice. So I'm going to push it out a little bit here, just there. And I think that looks pretty good already. I pushed my gain up ever so slightly, and you can see that that change has brought it up into a more favorable position compared to the blue. So if I wipe my timeline graph here, now obviously these are a bit different in terms of the time of day, but that's fine. This is a bit more of what I want for this clip. And then furthermore, I might adjust the exposure. So I'll just add an exposure node to this clip. We're just gonna still adjust this. And I might just bring it up. So we'll use our parades. So let's just bring this up ever so slightly. Let's just reduce the lift down a bit and work there. Push our gain a little bit up, or a little bit down, sorry. And let's just do a little bit of log stuff as well. Just increase our shadows, boost the midtones a bit, and I think that looks pretty good. If we change that, you can see that our exposure has gone up, which is a bit more closer to these shots. Okay, let's just say I like that. We're gonna go back to Dehancer and we're going to enable it. I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did with my first clip, the individual clip. We're going to choose a film stock. I'll just choose the Kodak Vision 350D this time. And I'm going to push it all the way. And then next we're going to set up our expand point. So let's just set our black point up to here, increase our white point ever so slightly. And then let's work with our film developer. We'll enable a bit of a color boost, just a little bit, not too much, because we want to make sure that it's not too big. You can see here, if I boost it up all the way, that looks a bit too unreal. So let's just boost it up to a point where it kind of works. So if I enable and disable that, you can see there's a bit of saturation there, and it looks quite nice. We're going to look at this shot. I think I want to enable a bit of film compression here. Just so that I can get some of the highlight detail back. Well, let's just have a look. Yeah, maybe I reduced its impact though, just a little bit. We'll enable it, sorry, so that that works. And that looks pretty good, enabled and disabled. Okay, that's looking pretty nice. Let's apply a print. So we'll go Kodak 2383 for our print film. Again, looking quite good. Let's increase the color density here. We'll put a bit of tonal contrast in there. So that's kind of also why I put the film compression, just to bring it down, because if I take that off, there we go, now it's on. Now for the film grain, I can decide whether I want to keep it or not. I might actually take it off for this shot. Let's just disable it, and let's just say we want to keep this digital look, or yeah, no grain. But I will put halation on there, so this kind of introduces a warmer tone, and you can see it occurring in these areas of high contrast. If I zoom in, there's halation occurring there. If I increase it, you can see it's gone up. Let's just bring it down a bit. Halation is better when it's not too noticeable, and we'll put a bit of a bloom as well. So there's a bit of a bloom occurring up in the higher areas. what else? Maybe a vignette too. Just a slight one, we'll enable it. We'll keep the exposure down, but increase the size. And now if we look through our shots, you can see that Dehancer has been applied to each of them, and they look pretty good. This one, you know, if you want, you can still increase the exposure a little bit. Let's just bring our offset up, you know. But overall, this got us to a really nice spot really quickly. And all of our shots look pretty consistent throughout. And yeah, the most important thing is that Dehancer has been applied to each of these shots. So this is how you would use Dehancer with multiple clips, and it allows you to get a very quick and easy grade through all of your clips so that you can get a consistent look. I think Dehancer is a solid creative tool. It offers enough variety and control to meet the needs of different creative visions and different projects. I really like how intuitive Dehancer is to use, and another big plus is the level of support and documentation surrounding Dehancer, which makes it really easy for beginners going into film emulation to pick up a tool like Dehancer and learn how to use it in their color grading workflow. I can really appreciate the level of work and quality that has been put into Dehancer and its film profiles and effects. There are some improvements I would like to note, however. Number one is I would really like the ability to preview different film profiles just by hovering over the option rather than having to click on it and select it. Another improvement I would like to see is optimization of Dehancer's performance on the system. Right now, Dehancer is really intensive to run, and I know for a lot of people with lesser systems, it can be quite hard to actually use Dehancer, and it can be difficult to preview what different film profiles look like throughout an actual clip sequence. So yeah, just increasing the system performance so that users have a better experience. Another really big quality of life thing I would like to see is a description of the different film stocks and how they were used throughout history or what scenarios they were commonly used in. This would help especially beginners who may not understand when a particular film stock may have been used, and can help creators make more informed and creative decisions when choosing different film profiles. Now, I can't end this video without talking about the price of Dehancer and factoring that into my review. As of right now, the DaVinci Resolve Pro plugin for Dehancer is $449 US. With a cost like this, it's really important to consider a number of factors because $449 US is a lot of money. I think the way we need to look at Dehancer is as a creative tool. Think of it like buying a new lens or a new camera, a new tripod, a new microphone, or a new piece of gear. Whether that price of $449 US is justifiable depends on you and your creative needs. I think if you're just starting out and trying to make more videos and you're learning how the world of video and film works, I think you should hold off buying Dehancer for now, as it can add just another layer of complication. And it's important to note that you should learn the fundamentals of color grading before picking a tool such as Dehancer. There's a lot of different factors that go into a cinematic or film look. Lens choice, composition, set design. Dehancer, just like any other tool, should be used to further enhance a story. However, if you're looking for something to take your footage to the next level and really emulate that film look, then Dehancer is a no-brainer. I think Dehancer has made a really solid product here that you guys can use in your creative journey and make your footage look more cinematic. It's really important that Dehancer continues to improve their product based on community feedback and innovate Dehancer and its features so that it meets and aligns with the needs of creators who use it. I hope this video was really helpful in terms of making your footage more cinematic. Remember, if you want to pick up Dehancer, there's a link in the description and you can use my affiliate code CINEMA10 to get 10% off your order and also support my channel. If you found this video helpful, please leave a like and comment down below any suggestions or ideas for future videos, as well as anything you'd like to discuss about Dehancer. If you want to stay up to date with more content, please subscribe. And with that, thank you for watching. God bless.